Hi, everybody. This is still Prime Morning, and it's time for Good Living segment. Now, this is the health segment. It's the month of October. It's Pink October, and so we are pushing and doing our very best to create more awareness in relation to breast cancer. If you haven't gotten tested, my dear woman, please make sure that you do go get checked. It's imperative that you do so. My name is Dua Akumia. We are going to continue the conversation on breast cancer. Last week, it was very incredible. We learned so much. The topic that we tackled last week was the contribution that alcoholism has in the development of breast cancer. And we learned, the major thing that we learned from last week is that alcohol contributes to a majority of the cancers. I hope you didn't forget if you watched last week. So this is just a slight reminder. We are still going to delve into that. And we promised you that we are going to show you the self-examination as well. So we are going to delve into that. But today, there's something slightly different. We have a breast cancer survivor who's going to tell us her journey of being diagnosed and now being a survivor of breast cancer. Early detection, definitely something can be done about it. And so you have an opportunity to go and get checked today. But before we delve into that conversation, Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair. We are calling on all patrons. We are calling on every single person who wants to showcase their craft, who wants to showcase their talent, okay? So is it clothes that you sell? Is it jewelries, shoes, hair? What is it that you sell? Please get on board. We're going to project the number for you to call or get in touch to register to be a part of Joy Prime's Made in Ghana Fair that is coming your way very, very soon. So we are calling for vendors right now. If you're interested or if you want to showcase your skill, what you do, you want to sell, it's a perfect opportunity because guess what? We're going to have over 5,000 patrons coming their numbers during this period. And so the number will be put on your screen shortly so you can pick it up if you want to be a part of this year's edition of Joy Prime's Made in Ghana Fair. My guests are beautifully seated for the conversation. Last week, we had great submissions from Dr. Perfect Coker, who is a medical officer with Medifem. Hi, Doc.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Hope you're very well, you're fit, you're okay.
Very fit.
You're excited. Today we're going to do explanations to the self-examination because last week you promised.
Yes.
Yes.
We delivered
All right.
promised.
Yes. And seated to her right, we have Louisa Ahiabu, who is a breast cancer survivor. She's also the Senior Human Resource Manager of the Department of Surgery at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we are going to give it all. We are about to give it all. So, my dear viewers, get ready to learn so much. Get interactive with us. On Facebook, we are very active. Get into the comment section. You can take our WhatsApp number. It is 055-157-5757. Now, let's get right into something I chanced on social media. I was just reading and Googling about breast cancer in Ghana, the cases and all of that. And I was very alarmed to have read about the fact that Global Cancer Observatory report stating that out of 5,000 diagnoses of breast cancer, we have 2,300 people dying every year in Ghana. And I'm like, okay, and there was a comparison from COVID-19, where we had just a little over 1,000 cases. So meaning it keeps on increasing when it comes to breast cancer. Very alarming. And so, Doc, how dire would you say the situation of breast cancer is right now?
Okay, so currently, I think with regards to breast cancer, we've created more awareness. So we have more people reporting to the health facilities now. We have better records of the situation now
as compared
to previously. Yes. So even though we still have a lot of people reporting late, for which we have the mortalities like where we have it now. I think for now we have more people we have more awareness, we have more people reporting, and then that is translating to the numbers we see now.
Okay.
Yes, and COVID-19, during COVID-19 period, the surge due to the lockdown and all the interventions that were going on. In fact, generally, not just breast cancer, with regards to other conditions, people were not reporting to the hospital as they should because of the fear that, I mean, you come out, you're going to get the disease. Yeah. So it's affected surveillance, management of other conditions too. But now, post-COVID, things are getting back to normal. Things are running. Yes, people are coming. People are reporting. But there's still a lot. There's still a lot to be done. We still have the major issue of people reporting late. Yes.
All right. Okay. So, Dr. Coker, thank you for that. Louisa, let's start with your journey. First off, let's come to what were some of the things that you started noticing as a woman that got you alarmed or that got you to go and get checked?
Okay, thank you, Asadia. Actually, I noticed a lump in my armpit, my left armpit.
Oh.
I noticed it long time, but I stopped menstruating very early in my 30s, late 30s. So I thought anytime my menses is about to come, that is why my breast becomes tender and all of that. Yes. But then I stopped menstruating. So I feel it is that time of the month that my menses has to come is when I feel that tenderness in my breast. So sometimes it goes off, the lump disappears. Then after another month, it comes again. But I got alarmed when I had that sharp pain in my nipple. That was after I lost my mom. I lost my mom also to breast cancer. That was where I became aware that I need to do something. I need to go the extra mile to check what is there. But with that also, I was afraid to go to the hospital to go get it checked because of fear of hearing what I don't want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would say my husband forced me to go to the hospital. Actually, my nipple pain, he was the one who made me feel that nipple pain when he was playing around with my nipple. I had that sharp pain. So I asked that he does the second one, but I didn't feel anything. So I realized that no, there's something wrong with this particular breast.
Yeah, feeling the sharp pain.
Yes. So I was forced and I went to the hospital. So when I went...
Pardon me, at that time, the lump that you felt in your armpit was not there?
It was there.
Oh.
Now it doesn't disappear. It's now there. But it was not painful. It was a painless lump in my armpit.
Wow.
But then that sharp pain I felt was on my nipple. Not the pain in my armpit.
Yes.
No, it is rather around the nipple.
Right.
I felt a sharp pain in my nipple. But then I didn't feel it in the second breast.
Yes.
That is where I realized that no, there's something wrong with this particular breast.
Okay.
So eventually I went to the hospital. After questioning, you know, when you go to the hospital, doctors will ask you of your medical history, your family history. And I told them that I lost my mom because of so and so. So then upon that, they asked me to do a mammogram. So I did a mammogram and they saw the lump. So after the mammogram, I was asked to do a further test by doing a biopsy. A tissue of the lump was taken to the pathologist and it came out cancerous. In fact, it was so devastating. Knowing that this is what took my mom away. And you know, at that time, I didn't know much about cancer. Though I knew that you may die and all of that, when I also got it, it was there that I felt the need to really read much about it. But I knew I was also going to die because my mom died. She had a recurrence.
How old was your mom?
My mom was 62.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
She died that same year. I was also diagnosed. So it wasn't an easy thing. It wasn't an easy feeling. My mom was buried in September.
Okay.
And in October, I was diagnosed.
So it was barely even a month.
A month I was diagnosed. So it means the thing was there even before my mom died.
Right.
But it wasn't so painful. It was not painful. So, it comes as a painless something. It becomes serious when it is painful. Okay. Cancer is very tricky. It becomes painful when it is getting out of hand. So when you feel a lump in your breast, go get it checked immediately. You know your breast. That is why it is always good to be breast aware. Be breast aware. Know how your breast is, so that when there's something wrong with your breast, you would know that, no, something is wrong with my breast and I need to go to the hospital to get it checked. You need to go to the hospital to get it checked because they are trained to know how your breast is.
Yeah.
We have our breast, but we don't know much about our breast.
That's true.
So the doctors and the nurses are trained to know how our breast is made up. So when you have anything that is not right, that is out of the normal, you need to rush to the hospital to go get it checked. When it is checked, you have your peace of mind. And if it is checked early, you may not lose your breast. You may just have the lump taken off. That's all. And it will also save you a lot of things. It will save you your finances and a whole of your time, your emotions, in fact, your whole being will be saved.
Okay. All right. Dr. Koka, she took the issue to the hospital after she started feeling pain. And I love what she said about the fact that when you start feeling pain, then it means that the cancer has gotten serious. Can you please explain further into that for me?
Okay, so as she rightly said, most of the time when you feel a lump in your breast that is cancerous, for some people it may come with pain, but that's just a little percentage. Most of the time it's a painless lump, so you may not even notice that something is going on. Yeah. Yes, and it may be very small, so it's very easy to miss. And reason why we encourage that we examine our breast regularly, yes. But as it's there, whether you notice it or not, it is growing. And it will start growing from where it is, and then it will start spreading locally and then beyond the breast. So it will spread within the breast, it could spread to your armpit, your lymph nodes, then it could spread outside of your breast, it could go to other organs. Now, there's a lot of pathophysiology that we don't have to go into all those details, yes. But there are lots of changes that goes on as it's spreading. Basically, it's also competing with your body for nutrients. You know, it's also growing as other tissues in your body is growing, and then it's releasing chemicals. A lot of things are going on, which eventually would lead to will lead to further complications that can cause you pain. So
she's stopping. Her menstruation stopping has nothing to do with that?
Not necessarily. Okay. Even though most of the people who have breast cancer are like postmenopausal. But as we mentioned last week, currently we have a lot more of young people having breast cancer.
That's true.
People in their 30s. One of the last people I saw was 27 who we diagnosed of cancer. Yes. So even less people younger than that are getting it. Yes. Yes. So so basically that's what happens. Most of the time it's painless. But that doesn't mean that for some people it may not begin with pain.
Okay.
But sometimes the pain it comes later when a lot of things have gone wrong.
The damage has gone on for long. All right, Louisa, let's talk about after you were diagnosed, the emotional effect of it, how you handled the news, how you handled everything.
Thank you. So, when I was diagnosed, actually I went to the hospital alone that day because I took permission from the office. Okay. My husband has to go to work. So when the report came, I went for the report and took it to the doctor. And then, unfortunately, my regular doctor was not the one I met that day. I met a different doctor. And he was blunt. He just told me that you had this. I was like,
We're supposed to at least polish it up small.
you know. So in fact, I just went numb. I sat there, I looked at him. I'm like, okay. Then he said, why did you wait so long? And that even killed me. So I thought that's the end of me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I managed to drive myself from Trust Hospital to Dansoman. But I got home anyway. God did. So when I got home, I just threw myself on the floor because there was no one at home. My kids were in school then. So whilst I was going through all of this, my children were not around. They were all in school. They were in the boarding house. So it was only myself and my husband. So he was not at home. So I got home and I cried. I cried till I slept. I didn't even know when I slept. It was the call from him that woke me up because he was also anxious to hear what the results would be. So I told him this was it. In fact, he told me when he also got the news in the office, he was just off. Anybody who comes to him realized or notices that there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
So in fact, the emotional torture was just too much. I knew, because when my mom was going through hers, I saw everything, her chemotherapy sections, the medications, how it was having effects on her and all of that. So I knew I'm also going to go through the same thing. So for me, I knew it all. So, you know, sometimes knowing things that will happen to you sometimes even kills you even before the time.
Yeah.
But it's also good to know much about what is wrong with you. It may also help you to recover faster. So this was what happened. Eventually, the doctor, I have to go again. We scheduled another time. And he said, I need to come with my husband, my next visit.
Was it the same doctor?
No. Okay. This one, after I left, I was supposed to see my regular doctor another time.
Yeah.
So I went and then we scheduled a day for my surgery. But he scheduled another time for me and my husband because he said, usually when we go to the house, our spouses do not agree for our breast to be removed. Most women don't come back to the hospital. They resort to going to herbals because they don't want to get the breast taken off. You know? So
their
he
partners
said,
don't agree.
Yes. I know people. I know few people. And I've lost that friend of mine.
Aww.
Yes, she has 4 kids and she's gone. So we scheduled a time. I went together with Hosby and then doctor told him that this is it. Initially, I was thinking the lump would just be taken, but they said no, they have to take the breast.
The entire breast?
The entire breast. So he said, if that is what is going to save my life, then he has no options. So why not? So he agreed. And then a time for the surgery came, and then we all went to the hospital. I was admitted. And the next day, I had the surgery. That was in December 2019, 9th December 2019. That was when I had my first surgery of my breast. That's the total removal of the breast, mastectomy. So after that, I think after 6 days, I was discharged from the hospital. And I was referred to Kolebu to continue my treatment. So, fast track to Kolebu, and I continue.
Yes,
fast track to Kolebu. I had my chemo session scheduled.
Yeah, you are focused today, so yeah.
I had my chemo sections scheduled. You know, before you go for all these things, you need to do series of tests to check your vitals, if your everything is okay, your stomach, to see if the cancer has not spread. So you have to do MRI, scans, a whole lot, and it's very expensive. You not just go, it's not on national health. Some of these things are not on national health. You need finances to do it.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of your finances. If you don't have the support, some people just give up and then stay back.
Yeah.
I remember when I took my mom to the hospital some years ago, I saw this woman when she was diagnosed and was told that she's going to have her chemo sessions and this is the amount involved. He just fell in the chair and said, "Eradi mewu." That was her, you could see that she has already given up. So it is not that easy. This journey is not easy. So we need a lot of support whenever you are going through this. So I had my chemo session scheduled. So But then, before then, when my immunohistochemistry came, that is to see what exactly the cancer type, it came out that mine is estrogen positive. So estrogen positive means that, can I let the doctor talk about it?
Okay, so we have, as you mentioned, we have different types and grades of the cancer. So with regards to the immunohistochemistry, basically we are looking at the cells that make up the cancer, whether they have estrogen receptors. So whether they have estrogen receptors, whether they have, we have estrogen receptors, then progesterone receptors, then whether they also express a chemical known as HER2. So based on this, we tailor treatments for it. So the ones that have that are estrogen receptor positive, progesterone receptor positive, those ones we can do hormonal therapy in managing them. Yes.
Okay.
So again, people think that once you have cancer, it's just chemotherapy. So there are other things that can be done. There's hormonal therapy.
Okay.
There's immunotherapy that can be done.
Okay.
So if your is HER2 positive, there are some medications that are specially given to treat those ones. And then it also informs us of the prognosis. So some of the cancer types, so you may have ER positive, PR positive, HER2 negative cancer. You may have triple negative, so ER negative, PR negative, HER2 negative. So depending on the combination that you have, it gives us an idea of the prognosis. Some of them respond better to treatment.
Right.
Some, unfortunately, it's a bit difficult when it comes to treatment. But again, it doesn't mean that if you have one that is difficult in treatment, you can't be treated if you do not come early. Timing is key. Yeah. You may have one that is very responsive, like hormone responsive and everything, but if you stay home and you come late, there might be very little we can do.
If you stay home, what solution can you get from staying home? You will not get any solution. Louisa.
So after the doctor checked my folder, in fact, I started with chemotherapy, first and second section, and then I'm about to do the third cycle, and I met a senior person at the oncology unit at Kolebu, Dr. Vena. So she saw my folder, and I went there, vehemently complained to her that the side effects of the chemotherapy is just too much for me.
What were some of the things that you were going through?
In fact, I just felt like I'm dying, because when I finish chemo, you leave the hospital fine, but when you get to the house, the third day, I think mine started from the second day, I feel like passing out. I can't do anything. I'll just be lying on the floor. I feel nauseous. You feel like vomiting. Nothing tastes good for you. You lose your taste. You are virtually not in the world. It's as if you are not there. Like, you can't find yourself.
Wow.
That is how chemo is, yes. I feel like I was dying. So I did the first, the second, and the third time, my folder got into this woman's hand. Then I told her that this is how I'm feeling. So she has to go back, check my immunohistochemistry and all of that. And then she said, you know what? We are going to change it for you. Yours is estrogen positive, so we are going to give you hormonal therapy. That was where my chemo session stopped. Actually, I lost my hair, my fingers, and my palm were darkened. You know, when you start chemo, those were the things that you go through. You lose your hair, your palm and your finger nails become darkened.
So just to be clear, it is chemotherapy.
Yes.
That actually contributes to the loss of hair.
Yes.
So if I can explain a little, so the chemotherapy is targeted to kill fast-growing cells. You know, cancer cells, they grow, or they multiply, they divide very fast, yes. But there are other cells in our body too that also divide very fast. One of them is our hairs, yes, other parts of the body. But even though you are targeting it to the cancer cells, you are giving it to the body. So
it has access to other parts of the body as well.
Effect on other parts of the body.
Okay.
And these are like high dose medications so that they can kill the cancer cells. So in they doing their work, you have these side effects because of the activities all over the body. So the symptoms she mentioned, nausea, you can have vomiting, the hair loss,
the palms darkening,
your skin darkening. Yes.
Okay.
You can feel very weak, very sick, even fainting. It's can be a bit harsh on your body, but again, everybody's response to chemo is different. Some people don't have as much symptoms as she might have, and some too would have even worse than she has. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So we are still in studio and we're talking breast cancer. We have a breast cancer survivor here, Louisa Yabu, and she's telling us a story. Dr. Perfect Koka is also here. If you have any question, please send it to our WhatsApp number and then we'll ask that. And so,
So eventually the chemo was stopped and I was placed on hormonal therapy. And then the hormonal therapy, I was on for about 3 months and I started noticing the side effect of that one as well. They all have side effects.
Okay.
So the hormonal therapy is just like I'm being sent into my early menopause. You know, because of estrogen. Estrogen is feeding the cancer cells. So estrogen is being suppressed in my system. So eventually, the things that estrogen does, let's say it lubricates you as a woman, makes you a woman look rounded and beautiful. All these things are being suppressed. So I started feeling bone pains, hot flashes, and all of that. You know, when I sit for a while, then you realize that I'll start sweating from my head down. As if somebody has thrown a bucket of water at me or poured a bucket of water on me. It was becoming so unbearable and so embarrassing at a point. So after about 5 months, I stopped. I stopped taking the hormonal pills. I didn't even tell the doctor. That's one thing I regretted. I didn't tell the doctors that I have stopped. I'll come for my reviews. They will write the medication for me. I will take it and I will not say anything and I will not also take the medication. Then after 8 months, you know, I thought I could fight this by changing my lifestyle, eating well, going to the gym, exercising and all of that. Because I look good. When I stopped the medication, I came back to myself. Like nothing happened to me. My hair grew back and all of that.
Your body was deceiving
you. Yes. So I thought I was okay. So I go to the gym and I was fine, fit. Then one day in the gym, I noticed a lump again in my armpit. The place where the breast was removed, same spot. I got alarmed. Usually when I leave the gym, I leave very happy. But that day, I left sad. So I told my husband, like, hey, this thing looks like I'm feeling something in my armpit. I was like, oh, you are always anxious. You are always thinking the thing will come back. It's my mind. I should take my mind off. This time, right, he is telling me that because I've always been having that at the back of my mind. You know, when you go to the hospital, the doctors will tell you it may come back. So that it may come back always rings.
Yeah, it's ringing.
It is always at the back of my mind. So I always feel that it will come back. So when I started noticing that, hey, and also knowing what my mom also went through, she also had a recurrence, then all hell broke loose. In fact, I wasn't myself from the day I discovered that lump in my armpit. So eventually, I had to go back to the hospital. I went to see doctor. She checked and said, I would have to do a biopsy again. She thought the doctors, when they see, they know. But you still have to do a further exam. Because by that time, my scar was itching. When it itches, I scratch and I feel some peels, like the skin peeling off. So she noticed that. So that was where she said, Louisa, you have to go and do a biopsy immediately. So with that, if you don't have money, how are you going to do that? So I have to go do the biopsy. After the biopsy, the report came and it was it again. Sister has come again.
Same place.
Same place. So I think within 2 weeks, Surgery was scheduled. I need to do surgery immediately. I had no time to think. At that time, in fact, I broke down. I've never cried like the first time. I cried at the clinical psychologist's office at Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Okay,
Cried.
Louisa, unfortunately, this is all that time would permit.
Yeah.
You are coming back next week, God willing, to continue this story, because I know there's more to this.
Yeah.
There's so much that you have to share with our fellow women out there. I'm even distraught right now, but although you are well, we thank God for that. But viewers, I hope that you've learned something from today. Dr. Coker, quickly, the self-examination. Let's do that briefly so that we can go.
Okay, so as we mentioned last week, that we would have a self-breast examination tutorial today. Yeah, so we encourage women monthly, at least once a month, and it should be around the same time you do the examination every month. So maybe if you do it on the first of every month, you do it around that same time, so that you would know your breast, you would know if there's any changes. It's research. It's conflicting on as to how much it impacts your prognosis with regards to breast cancer. But one thing that we are sure about is the fact that once you know your breast, if there's anything you are not sure of, it would prompt you to
take action.
Yes, which may in the long run save you from something very, very serious. Okay. So first of all, before you start your self-breast examination, you have to expose your breast and you have to look in a mirror. The
you can turn towards it if you're not seeing very well.
So we just focus on the images. The writings are very tiny. We focus on the images. So you stand in front of a mirror like what we see in the image, and then you look. So we are looking for any skin changes. Has some parts become darker or lighter? Is there any sore, unusual sore? Is one breast looking unusually bigger? No, one breast is bigger than the other, but you've noticed that the size has now changed more.
Because of time, if you can kindly just...
Okay. So, but I think it's important, the things you should look out for, whether your nipple is retracted or it's looking deviated. So any unusual thing, you look in front of you look at yourself in front of the mirror. Yes. Then you'd also raise your hand and then you'd examine your breast, like you have a look at it whilst your hand is raised. You'd put your hand on your waist and you tense it, and then also observe your breast. If sometimes when you do that,
I say like
you tense the muscles, so, and then you lean forward a bit, and then you look. Also remember to look beneath your breast, because you may have to lift it a bit if it's voluminous. Yes. So after that, you be encouraged that you do examination both sitting or standing, and then both lying and then lying down. Yes. So you'd use 3 fingers, and can you show me so that I can demonstrate? I want to demonstrate.
Okay. All right. So Dr. Coker, I'm being told that that part we'll do that next week because time is up. The moment it got interesting, unfortunately, we have to go. So my guests have been Dr. Perfect Coker, who's a medical officer with Medifem, and Louisa Ahiabo, who is a breast cancer survivor and also the Senior Human Resource Manager at Department of Surgery at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. My name is Dua Kumia, and that's it for today's edition of Prime Morning on Joy Prime. Do take care of yourself and join us tomorrow at 6 a.m.